This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the remake of The Crow. Plus, Ultron and Scarlet Witch may be returning to the MCU. Robert Downey Jr. talks about his return to the MCU. Beau DeMayo's lawyer responds. And Ezra Miller, Accuser, says he was mistaken. And more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, August 26th, 2024.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Why? I don't know.
Check one. All right, this is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up.
Jock it, we heard it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we heard it.
Oh, what's up, listener? How's it going? Thank you for pressing play, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the Nerd.
And we got a fella. He's joining us from the space between the living and the dead. Oh, yes, he is powered by love and alcohol. Goes by the name The Bro. It's very shady. We call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
They call me the escrow.
The escrow? Oh, your escrow account?
Because any money that you give me I'll hold on to it for you.
You need an escrow account for your taxes and your insurance. It's very important.
It just means I'll hold on to it for a while. Don't worry about it.
This week on the Jock and Nerd Real Estate Podcast, we are going to go over interest rates and applying for a loan. What is happening?
I know nothing about these things.
No, me neither. And it's the worst thing you could ever do is watch The Crow. No, buy a house. Both things.
In this market, don't watch The Crow and don't get into real estate.
I was also going to go with your name being The Fro. How would that would have played out?
Only on my pubes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. His genital area is a
you have kind of a fro, though, a little bit.
The Fro.
It's just an unkempt hairdo.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Listen, these are all spin-offs we need. We need.
I feel like I'm appropriating if I use fro.
I mean, a little bit. That's why I didn't go with the Fro.
Good on you, Imran.
Anthony, what's your thoughts about kinky hair?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Anthony.
It's
not touching that one.
No, it's a beautiful thing. I'm jealous. I wish I had.
That's bait, Anthony. Don't touch it.
Yeah, I can't touch that.
Okay, that was a test. You passed. All right, let's get into. We're going to talk about a movie. I didn't say it was a good movie or bad movie. It's just a movie later. But first, some fun geek news. Let's do it.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Some exciting news in the realm of the MCU, Marvel Studios, Marvel TV. This was crazy. All the trades, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline reporting, confirmed James Spader set to return as Ultron for the Disney Plus Vision series.
Oh, shit.
Okay, that's crazy. It gets crazier. First of all, they are describing this series as the third part of a trilogy that started with WandaVision. It's going to continue in Agatha all along, and then it will be, I don't know if it's called the White Vision or the Vision or whatever, but Deadline uses interesting words and how they, in their story, they said the role in Vision may not be voiceover we hear, is what Deadline says. Okay, you follow that up. Lots of rumors. Daniel Rickman, other scoopers reporting Elizabeth Olsen, also a lock to return in the Vision series.
Oh, shit.
Okay, that's another one. And then I see another report saying, rumored Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus saying she's going to come back as a different character. What? I think I can kind of explain. I can kind of see where this is going. First of all, comment on all that stuff. It's kind of crazy big news. We haven't seen Ultron, of course, since the Age of Ultron. 2012 was Avengers. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Where is Ultron? Is he destroyed?
Oh, 2015. Sorry. He was destroyed at the end of that movie. But he is Code, right?
Right.
He could have easily slipped in and out somewhere.
Well, but the whole thing was, I mean, they could certainly write him back in, but the whole thing was Vision burned him out of the internet, and
right.
The last bit was the last drone of Ultron, and they were having that discussion, and then Vision blows him up.
And also Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch, dead, not dead. A whole mountain fell on her. Mount Kilgore, whatever, in Multiverse of Madness. So this is what I think is going on. There was the comic series written by Tom King, limited series called Vision. It's really good. And it's about the Vision fabricating an android family, a wife named Virginia, kids named Vin and Vivian, I believe, and trying to live in the suburbs as a normal suburban android family amongst humans.
We saw this already.
Sort of, right? So what happens? The Vision in WandaVision, what he was he real?
He was a creation of
Wanda.
Wanda, yeah.
And then Sword reprogrammed the White Vision. What happened again? How did
he ran away?
He ran, yeah. But
he ran away because he figured out he realized who he was, or that he was just a clone and had to go on a soul searching mission.
Yeah, he just fucked off.
So he's something that Wanda created, right?
The not the White Vision.
Not the White Vision.
The White Vision was the old Vision from that died in Ultron, but they repowered him up and reprogrammed him. But he still had his old memories.
And they fought. Remember on the show?
Then they talked about the ship of Thesis or whatever the fuck it's called.
Right. And then right before he flies off, I believe he goes, I am Vision. And he believes he's the true Vision or something. But here's what I think is happening. Because if these rumors are Elizabeth Olsen's going to play somebody else, James Spader's role may not be voiceover. I think he is going to, because of Ultron is his father, one of his fathers, technically. I think White Vision is going to recreate his family. He's going to make his father. It's going to look like James Spader. He's going to make a wife for him that, of course, is going to look like Wanda and possibly some children. Whether Wiccan and Speed show up, maybe. But I think that's what's going on. They're going to do that storyline on the comics. What do we think about that?
I feel like we've been here before.
Have we already done this?
I don't think it's a good plan.
I mean, it's a way to get Vision.
I understand it's coming from the comics, but I think that WandaVision was more based on that Tom King run than anything else.
No, it wasn't because that Tom King run wasn't about her putting a spell. She wasn't even.
No, but I mean, it's the fact that it was a popular series about them pretending to be this domesticated family. I think that gave the idea for WandaVision.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be pretty silly if Marvel copied that run, not because it's not a good run, but because it just echoes what we saw in WandaVision. So I don't really know what's at play here. I am a little bit intrigued that the Ultron James Spader is coming back.
Yeah.
That's kind of intriguing. But I mean, WandaVision was their best show, so I'll give them a little bit of leeway there. But in general, it's pretty hard to get excited about Marvel TV shows.
Well, they got a new showrunner. They got this dude, Terry Matalas, as showrunner because he worked on Star Trek Picard. And apparently they like that. I've not seen Picard, but I know Kevin Feige likes Star Trek also. So that's interesting. It's a different showrunner. We'll see. So that also makes me wonder how important is anything in Agatha. If this is like a part 2 of this trilogy, is it now got me more interested in Agatha all along? Because they're going to tie in this bullshit to get me to fucking watch it.
We're going to have to watch Agatha, but I don't know if anyone's going to be happy watching it.
Yes, well, we've done that before, and it's been lots of fun.
Hate watching.
But I'm like you said, I'm excited. Get James Spader getting some work.
Yeah, James Spader's the key announcement. They're not the key, but the most exciting announcement of that.
Can we stop?
Go ahead.
Like, if Agatha sucks, can we stop midway?
What, watching it?
Yeah.
I mean, We can make that.
I mean, we don't, the rules aren't set in stone.
We can make that decision game time halfway through for no.
Can we call an audible on this?
Because we probably should have. Well, we didn't review the Acolyte. No, we're not going to review we probably should have done that with the Acolyte. We'll get to that later. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, if they're,
I'm intrigued to see. Going back to this, I'm intrigued to see. I thought Ultron was not very well done in Age of Ultron, to say the least.
Yeah,
there were some intriguing ideas there, but the execution of him wasn't the best.
Yeah,
like I didn't like. I understand what they were going for, and that Tony Stark was his dad, so he had this kind of personality like Tony Stark. But in execution, him making jokes and stuff, didn't fit Ultron. So would love to see them take a second crack. I don't know if a TV show is the best route, but
yeah, that's interesting.
Ultron's always been a cool character in the comics.
I mean, Paul Bettany's returning for this TV show. Through the years, that Ultron has kind of grown on me. The goofiness and I got no strings, and I still don't like that his lips move.
Yeah, the lips moving is weird.
But like him with all the droids that he had in the other, that was all right. That's kind of grown on me. But yeah, initially you're like, what? James Spader? This doesn't make any sense.
I like the James Spader cast.
Yeah.
I just don't know if making him like Iron Man was the best.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And he also, he gets not even halfway through the movie, Iron Man blows up one of his suit, blows him up. It was just like they didn't really do a great job of making him a threat.
That's true. And he should be this really like one of the big bads that's always out there.
Yeah, he's like impossible to kill because he can just transfer bodies and go all over the place.
Like in the comics.
He's Skynet.
Yeah. I mean, he's, in the comics, he's up there with like your Thanos. And
he's really hard to beat in the comics.
Yeah. Ultron is a problem and should be feared. And he is like the Terminator. Like that kind of fear is what you want. So, but I think we're going to see James Spader as some kind of droid or something. So I don't know if that's better or worse. And Elizabeth Olsen, also exciting. Let's see what she's bringing back.
She hasn't done much.
No, to have her be a version of herself built by White Vision, that's kind of interesting. Anyways, listener.
You think she'll show up in Kraven and make out with him again?
Oh, with Aaron Taylor Johnson? Ew, that's her brother. Wait, no, you can't do that.
She's already made out with him in another movie, the Godzilla movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
Are you guys related or not? What is going on? Listener, let us know what you think. Join this conversation. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. It's a closed, exclusive group for you to meet other listeners, geek out. We put post spoiler threads for movies we're going to review. Lots of fun stuff. Okay, moving on. A little follow-up. I got a bunch of follow-ups. First follow-up. RDJ playing Victor Von Doom. Big announcement. There was this interesting interview with him with the Hollywood Reporter. And he said some interesting things that makes...
Was it interesting? What did he say that was really that
this
crazy?
Is what... Okay, a couple of things. First, he's talked about how a year ago he was having a discussion with Feige and Favreau. They're all friends, the Russo brothers. And he said he wanted to go... Robert Downey Jr. wanted to go to Bob Iger. He had an idea outside of the cinematic universe of how he could be of service, maybe in the theme parks. Maybe as a Tony Stark in the theme parks.
Yeah, like an AI or something.
Right. And so they're talking, him and his wife, Susan, are talking to Kevin Feige, and Feige says, it just keeps occurring to me that if you were to come back, and he goes, and Susan was like, wait, come back as what? And then
Susan
is his wife.
Okay.
She's also
Susan Downey, yeah.
Yeah, they produce a lot of movies. They run a production company, so they work together. So she goes, come back as what? And Robert Downey Jr. says Feige brought up Victor Von Doom. And then RDJ says, I looked up this character and I was like, wow. Later, Kevin goes, let's get Victor Von Doom right. Let's get that right. So, a couple of things. They were thinking about this a year ago, and that predates all of the Jonathan Majors legal shit. So, I think right after it had to be Ant-Man and the Wasp, they were like, fuck, we got to start thinking about something else.
I call bullshit on this whole story, by the way.
Second thing is he didn't know
it's not a story.
He didn't know who Dr. Doom was. He had to look it up. Whatever. Again, whatever. It's an actor. That's your job. But a lot of people are extrapolating that perhaps this means he is not playing Victor Von Doom as a Tony Stark variant and possibly just a completely different person, Victor Von Doom, that happens to look like Tony Stark? I don't know. That's kind of what I get from this. Would that make sense?
Oh,
The only way that it would work is that he never takes the mask off.
Sure, but you're paying him $100 million. I mean, I guess he don't care.
Well, that's
if he
Marvel's
just-
problem.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know how you inferred what you inferred from that, Imran, but to each their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm as I said earlier, I was there in the audience when it happened. I'm willing to see how this plays out. I don't think it's the best idea to have. I don't think it's the best execution to have a variant Tony Stark be Doctor Doom, but
Right. And I feel like
I do want to see what they do.
Yeah, I want to see what happens, and I feel like they've heard people are not happy with this idea of a variant evil Tony Stark. So they're just like, he's not a variant; he's just Victor Von Doom.
Maybe I think I said this before, but maybe they fucking penguin him.
Oh, put him in just unrecognizable.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
but then then why do you hire Tony Stark? Why do you hire Robert Downey Jr. to do that?
Just for hype? I don't know.
But then again, but now that I think it's possible because you still have Robert Downey Jr. He's still that name, so you still have that announcement. And while you don't do as much with it storyline wise, because if you have Tony Stark as the variant, then there's more to do storyline wise.
Right.
You have Peter seeing him and being like, what the fuck? You have maybe Cap and all the old Avengers being like, what the fuck is this? So there's more story to mine, but you still get to be like, we have Robert Downey Jr. in this movie and he's playing Victor Von Doom.
I still think it's funny that like they want to go. They're like, we want to beat expectations, not go backwards, go forwards. But you're going backwards by picking all the Bruce says. They're going
This
backwards.
is just
to
a
go forwards.
harebrained idea.
It's crazy.
If it works, it's like gimmicks work sometimes, but I don't think they amount to great movies. Like No Way Home, not a great movie, great gimmick, worked like a charm. Deadpool Wolverine, not a great movie, but great gimmick, worked like a charm. This might be their trifecta of gimmicks that are going to amount to box office dollars.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I don't know. Questionable.
I mean, I'll tell you right away, this gimmick is gonna lead to a huge opening night box office. Like,
they're gonna get a lot of people in the butts in the seats.
Now you just have
But
to.
the thing about Spider-Man: No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine is they were really, really fun times in the movie theater.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how this plays out. I mean,
Yeah.
Tony Stark, he can definitely. Robert Downey Jr. is going to be an awesome Doom. Like, in terms of like, he can play that character.
So
I just don't know what the execution is of it.
He's just in a show on HBO called The Sympathizer. He got an Emmy Award, and he plays like 6 different characters on this show. So if he can come out and play it completely different, make us forget that he even was Tony Stark. That's what you got to do.
He will. It's just the.
But you don't think people are going to want Iron Man?
I think that's part of the.
Or they won't want Iron Man because they have Doom?
I think that's part of the, like, if you have him as Doom and you're playing it up as an alternate Stark, that's the part of like how it fucks with your emotions, as you're seeing this character you loved and now you're having to root against him.
But all that kind of takes away from Doom then also. Who has,
but then it takes away a little bit. It takes away a lot from Doom's own personality, Doom's character.
Man, this is a fucking tricky balance. I can't wait to see what they do.
All right. We'll see what happens. Until more articles that don't really tell us anything that we already said all this stuff like a month ago when we found out a week ago. So.
Okay, let's move on to, I have some sad Star Wars news, everybody.
Oh no.
Star Wars fans, I'm really sorry to report that the Acolyte has not been picked up for a second season.
Lame. Fuck that show. That's a big fuck up right there. I don't think it's a big fuck up.
I know. I just wanted to play that. Anybody sad? What do we think? Not shocking, obviously.
Not shocking. And I'm happy. Happy's not the right word, but it's good to see that people who are inept at their jobs don't get to continue doing them.
Yeah, justice a little bit.
Like, it's just one of those things. Like, okay, get a shot, give you a shot to make a show. Try and make a show that's good, that narratively the characters make sense and things that happen make sense. And when you don't do that and people get turned off, they should not be rehired. And that show should go away. Like, they've already messed it up too. It's gone too far to fix, and there's no audience there for it. I think that's the reason. That's the only reason I could see that them actually getting rid of it is there's no return on investment for them. It's too expensive.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is what's funny is if you've seen the reactions, they're all over the place. But the reason it got canceled is not because it was too woke. The reason it got canceled is not because it wasn't woke enough. The reason it got canceled is simply that people did not watch the show. The viewership,
Of course.
plummeted after 2 episodes. Anthony, you hate watching the show. Wasn't even enough to save it.
But
No, it wasn't. I tried. I really
did.
tried
You
to
really
save
did.
this for all the fans. I did. I gave it more attention. I recorded Patreon
I
things.
know.
I watched it
Didn't add up.
once a week. Like, I really was rooting for this thing, and I'm really sad to see it go.
don't you think?
On
Go
a
ahead.
serious note, just one quick thing.
Yeah.
It always kind of boggled my mind. The only thing that I thought might save the show is that it got good reviews
Right.
on Rotten Tomatoes, but then you saw the audience score, and some people are going, "Oh, it's review bombing," but I don't know any. I mean, other than John Hamper, and he's just a really nice guy.
We should
I
ask
don't
him
know
what he
anyone that that's I've spoken with. It's like, "Oh, the Acolyte's good." So I just didn't see how. First, I just didn't understand the dichotomy in the reviews versus the fans. It almost makes you wonder if they were getting paid for these reviews.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, bye my Crapolite. We'll never know. We'll never know what that little creepy thing in the dungeon or in the cave was.
Was Vanestro whipping Khmer?
We'll never understand if what Yoda's role
They
in
gave
all
us
of this
Darth
was.
Plagueis and Yoda for no reason, and we were
We'll
just
never
left with
know
them.
why she had to get mind wiped and not just go with her sister. We'll never find out the mystery to these things. It's similar to us like getting Harry Styles in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, what
or
happened
Hercules
to fucking who's he? Pip and the fucking troll. What happened to him?
Star Fox.
Star Fox.
Yeah,
That's
Star
right.
Fox.
And Pip the
We'll
troll.
never know. We'll never get an Eternals 2, and we'll never get an Acolyte 2. So
Yeah, I don't even think they're making an Eternals 2. They can come on and say
no, they just there's some reports that
Yeah, they're not
doing
doing
that.
I do think it's disingenuous of them to spin it this way because, yes, if you want to be completely objective, it's because viewership was bad. But the reason that viewership was bad was because fans did not want. There's a bunch of fans that would have watched it
Yeah.
if it was good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
No, bad writing all over the place. Bad,
So they're trying to spin it like, oh, it's just, it didn't catch on. But like, no, they fucked up. They decided to who they decided to hire to make the show and the direction that the show went in.
Yes.
And if you're going to do something like that's going to be controversial, you got to be able to back it up.
So
And they did it.
Jeff Snyder said he's heard this is the show Leslie Headland wanted to make. Right now, she has talent. She did Russian Doll. It's a great show. It's just not a good fit for this. So a couple of other things at play here. First of all, there's a rumor that Keanu Reeves, originally up for the part of Saul before the scheduling conflict,
Get outta here.
but people are saying
Dodging bullets like Neo.
no, but people are saying they are high on Keanu Reeves and they still have him in the back pocket, and don't be surprised if he pops up somewhere in Star Wars.
I mean, if they had, that would have just been so idiotic.
Can you
to have
imagine?
casted Keanu Reeves for the show?
Keanu Reeves is OSHA. Whoa. You know
How
the
bad
Force.
would the sets have looked if they had to pay Keanu
I
Reeves?
know. That's the other thing. They should have just shot it on the volume.
Who said that?
It's Jeff Snyder.
I mean, that's got to be like, he's just got to be a fucking puppet to report that and not be like, wait a minute, is someone fucking with me? Like, there's no chance that Marvel or Star Wars was like, we're throwing X amount of dollars at Keanu Reeves to be in a Star Wars show and we're putting him on the Acolyte to start. No
well, they
way.
got Carrie Ann Moss.
Yeah,
So-
they
Yeah, I
got
know,
fucking
but-
Trinity. Can you
Yeah, but
imagine you had
Carrie
Neo
Ann
and Trinity?
Carrie Ann Moss versus Keanu Reeves. Let's
you
be
know what?
serious here. What's Carrie Ann Moss done lately?
The only way.
No, I'm just saying they're Matrix people.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know that, but the
Carrie
the
Ann Moss,
amount
not
of
much.
money, like the amount of you save Keanu Reeves for a movie. You don't throw him in a
yes,
fucking.
yes. But
Disney
Plus
I
stuff.
do believe that he's that big of a fan that he would have just
You think
jumped
so?
at any. I mean, he may be like a huge Star Wars fan. Opportunity of a lifetime to be in it.
Carrie Ann Moss was recording episodes of Jessica Jones on Netflix. Like she's not above being on TV.
Yeah.
In fact,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
where her
Oh, yeah.
stardom is at this point.
Oh, that's right.
Keanu Reeves is still a franchise name.
Oh yeah, I mean it's John Wick.
Yeah.
Keanu Sans.
Keanu Sans,
I
baby.
can kind of see him in that role though. Like it kind of makes sense with the hair.
Soul.
Yes.
Saul?
Yeah.
Yeah, of
That's-
course,
it's
but
all- Jesus.
I'm glad he wasn't.
Yeah. So
Maybe I would have watched it even. Maybe I would have liked it more. I don't know.
and what's funny is like Andor
You don't
season
want Keanu to be a creepy kid.
a kid
Kidnapped.
stalker. He's like, I
Right.
must have that child. Where's that girl?
But
Whoa.
I did enjoy the fact that Saul having learned English, or that character
Yes.
actor having learned English for the first time for this role, was a better actor speaking in a second language than
Yes.
the main character speaking in her first language.
I mean, if there's any one good thing about this one and done is that Lee
got to
Jung
learn
Jae
English.
got to learn English with
Yeah.
Star Wars. Like he'll always have that,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. Squid Game coming out, I think, later this year. So we'll see more
Oh.
of him.
No English in that one.
No
probably.
English in that one. No, that was all. Andor season 2, they cite also as like not a lot of people watched it, but the viewership went up by the end of the series enough to get them a second season. And that show, I can't wait for it to come back. There are now fan petitions, of course, to bring the Acolyte back. That's not
Oh,
going to
God.
happen.
I heard that they're wiping it from canon.
Okay, so that's the next thing. There is a worry they may actually just delete the show.
Oh, shit.
They did it with Willow, which was not good on Disney Plus. It has been removed. Some people are saying on their like online shop, all Acolyte merchandise is unavailable to purchase. And I don't know if they should delete it. It'll also save the money because they won't have to pay.
Well, if they want to wipe it from
residuals.
canon, because there was a lot of canon breaking going on in that.
Yeah. So if they delete it, none of this ever happened. It doesn't count. It's kind of crazy though to think about like the people who worked on the show. If you were on it or you're a creator, you would think, oh, this show's going to be around. I can always watch it. Not necessarily. The thing is deleted. It's kind of heartbreaking from a creator side, but like I said, it's going to save them money. They won't have to pay residuals. And if nobody's watching it, just fucking, I guess, clear some space. What do you guys think? Should it be deleted or should it just sit on Disney Plus forever for people to check out later?
I don't know.
Should it be deleted or stay? I mean, isn't there a cost to doing that? To
There's-
leaving it on Disney Plus?
There's a cost of putting it up there and a cost of paying residuals to actors every time it streams now.
Right. So if you're putting something up there that you're taking up bandwidth for something that could have been there, no one's watching it anyways. I guess I could see it's not like
Or not only
it's not
that,
like there's
but it's-
unlimited.
they're using
memory on
that.
this.
They're using that show to basically as canon fodder for
Right.
why Disney sucks.
Right. So it's this weird dystopian world where they could just delete things and be like, no, that never happened. Doesn't exist. Never happened. Fucking hell. Anyways, no surprise. They waited 2 months to announce the Acolyte cancellation. We'll see how the Skeleton Crew does later this year.
The Skeleton Crew is going to turn things around. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, this is the one. You got a cute blue alien. You got kids. They're getting into mischief.
No chance.
You
But
got sexy Jude Law as a Jedi. It's got all the making.
I don't care how many handsome British guys you put in there.
Listen, you like E.T., you like Goonies. We're going to rip both of those things off. You're going to love this show. That's the marketing. Okay, more follow-up. Remember Beau DeMayo? We talked about Beau DeMayo, former X-Men 97 head writer, was let go. All this shit happened. And then there was allegations of him sending photos.
That was penis.
Yeah,
That is penis,
Beau DeMayo showing his butthole to people.
I don't know if it was that. It might have been topless, just making people
His
uncomfortable.
nipple rings.
Anyways, I told you I'd keep you updated and his lawyer.
We're defaming this guy. He's going to sue us.
He can't look. Brian Friedman is his lawyer.
Sue me for what?
Apparently, it's not libel, slander. We just look. It's all on the internet.
I'll sue.
We're just saying what everybody else is thinking. I didn't mention Jeff Snyder, who was the guy who broke the story. There's another line in his article where he goes, a source told him, quote, if you are a guy who looked like they could be under 30 on that show, you have his nudes, whether you wanted them or not. This is one of the allegations that is on public record. It's all allegedly. So his lawyer, Brian Friedman, who is like taking some big cases. This guy's a big time guy, apparently. He has a response. Here's what he says. And it's kind of interesting. You got to listen to the words. It's very lawyer speak. He says, quote, you realize that Disney allowed Beau to have an OnlyFans page while working for the company. No clue if someone quit while he was a showrunner, but that's like every single day on every single show. My client never sent lewd photos and videos to his direct reports. That is a bald-faced lie and defamatory. No one who reported Beau to HR received an inappropriate photo or video. That is simply untrue. As a proud gay black man, Disney knew exactly who he was and what he stood up for. That's why they did not tell him to stop his OnlyFans page. They let him be himself, which allowed his creativity to thrive. When they objected to his free speech rights and not complying with illegal NDAs, a certain person over there tried to replace him because he was becoming more successful than other creators. Ask Disney if his separation agreement illegally silenced him. Let me know what they say. Don't print this crap. It's wrong and defamatory, is the lawyer's response. Now,
he didn't show his butthole. The people, he didn't personally send his butthole, but if you paid for it, you got his butthole.
Possibly. No, but there's other things just like that. Listen, he says, my client never sent lewd photos and videos to his direct reports. Did he send it to other people that weren't directly under him?
Yeah. He probably sent his photo to his assistant and then said, yo, send my photo to all these hot guys.
You got the people that you report to, people report to you, and then there's other people outside of all this tree. Like, you could have sent it to them. He didn't say it.
That's a good, that's good catch there, Imran.
Okay, look at this one.
He's the lawyer.
He says, no one who reported Beau to HR received an inappropriate photo or video. So, were there people who didn't report him to HR that got photos, videos?
No, those who reported to HR maybe have seen his penis in real life.
Also, are they admitting that people did report him to HR for something?
Look, I don't know what happened. We're all talking about something we didn't have no idea what. We weren't there. We're just reading it. I don't know.
I'm
reading
just saying,
between the lines.
You got to. It's law speak, right? But these words he used for a reason. You got to weave between them.
The accusations are out there.
Yeah,
something's got to be true. Right, so
I thought it was interesting.
Usually, right. Yeah. Usually, when there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah,
like, why would anyone want to defame him?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Something happened.
Something weird happened. Maybe it's not to the extent that it's. Who knows?
Yeah,
he showed his penis to someone that didn't want to see it.
He's sending butthole photos too,
or just weird, stuff.
I was like, I need a reference for a starfish. Can you help me out? And I was like, there you go. Anyways, they're denying all this. It's all allegations. Look, just remember, don't sue us. These are all allegations. It's all out there in the internet. Final thing, also a follow-up. We're gonna, similar to Beau DeMayo, in the same vein, there is an update to the fucking Ezra Miller story. Believe it or not.
The fuck?
We all remember the Ezra Miller story. We've forgotten about it. All that shit he was going through.
Oh, gosh, Ezra Miller.
Well, right?
They. Call him they.
They. Oh, fuck.
Call
That's right.
They.
Yes. Ezra Miller breaking into people's houses, throwing bottles of booze, kidnapping, grooming kids, all these allegations. Well,
right before they've got a movie that went into
right before they had a huge movie called The Flash coming out, and they
couldn't have them promote it.
No,
it's hard to do that.
No. Yeah, it is hard to remember that. They have been quiet of late. So remember, there was that one allegation from this couple, these parents, Sarah Jumping Eagle and Chase Iron Eyes.
Oh, yeah, the Native Americans.
Yes, they were looking for a protective order from Miller on behalf of their daughter, Gibson Iron Eyes. They claimed Miller had convinced them to send them to a certain college, and the actor had plied them with drugs and alcohol and abused them. Blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out Chase Iron Eyes has kind of changed his tune, recanted their statement. He says on Instagram, he said just the other day, I want to offer this on the drama 3 years ago when I filed a petition and claimed that Ezra appeared to have groomed Tokata. I made that statement in my pleading in a time of absolute war based on information from a witness who then recanted and said nothing happened that they could infer anything inappropriate from. Thus, I immediately withdrew the court filings. Maybe he's not as bad as everybody said.
Maybe he just sent some people some naked pictures. Nothing right.
That's okay.
Maybe, maybe they gave a little booze, maybe a little sip of this, a little smoke of that. And, young minds are impressionable.
Yeah, maybe it was all misconstrued. I mean, if Ezra sees that, then he's like, fuck, I told you. But both of these people.
I wasn't doing shit with them kids.
I told you I didn't do shit. I just wanted to smoke weed in my weed farm. I told them they could stay the weekend. They never left. Will either of these people, are their careers over?
Yes.
Both Beau DeMayo and Ezra Miller.
I think Ezra can come back.
You think so?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of weird creeps in Hollywood. And artists and musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, freaking what? Chris Brown beat the shit out of his Rihanna.
Yeah.
He makes music.
You got Mel Gibson still making things.
Mel Gibson. Yeah, you got all sorts of people doing weird shit. So I think Beau DeMayo, I don't know. Beau DeMayo is I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
Not because there's no real value to Beau DeMayo.
Right. No? He wrote some good shit.
Wrote a good stuff. But, it's like he's not, the name doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Whereas Ezra, I don't know if that name draws either, but Ezra was a pretty good actor.
I mean, they are. They're both talented, right? But with talent sometimes comes weird things.
Weird responsibilities.
with weird talent,
weird
responsibility, weird fetishes.
What was Ezra doing? They had a house and they had a lot of kids there.
There was a bunch of things. Yeah,
was this like a Waco,
a little bit.
Texas
it seemed like he had like a farmer who was growing weed, and they said there was like guns and bullets everywhere next to babies and kids that were staying over. And then there was like
babies.
Yeah, there was like babies and bullets, is one of them said. There was a baby like with a bullet in her hand or something.
Ruggs' reaction to that. Babies.
This is insane.
Ezra Miller should not be having babies around.
Not around those bullets.
I mean, I remember there was a lengthy article that went deep on the whole sequence of crazy shit.
I remember us going over this.
You're like, what the fuck is up with this guy? This guy needs help.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have gotten help.
Thankfully, I have forgotten everything.
Yeah, I have also forgotten.
Let me ask you this. If that Flash movie was good, if it was like the best fucking superhero movie ever, would
they have kept doing work with him, business?
Yes. Would that have changed anything for
I think they might have.
Even after all this.
Yeah.
That's an alternate reality.
What was Downey up to back in the day? What weird shit?
Downey was doing
was he just an alcoholic?
Yeah, no, he was doing drugs and booze, and he would fuck with people. He was like kind of just being
an asshole.
Yeah, he's being
that's
an
easy
asshole.
to recover from because everyone's an asshole in Hollywood.
Yeah. No, he went into rehab. It was a lot of alcohol, so he took
you got to
time.
admit you're wrong. That's the thing.
Yeah,
right?
he took time to get better.
That's the playbook on getting back. Is you got to admit you're wrong. You got to go away for a little bit, and then you got to start up, and you got to do some like small stuff.
Yeah,
and then you got to get your big break again.
I mean,
RDJ, and then you come back, and then you claim you're like sober.
That's the blueprint. Like, just look at what he did. Just do that. Like, how it worked out for him is crazy to even think about.
Because what's his name? Terrence Howard's going the other way. Have you seen him?
No. What has he been up to?
Well, he was on Rogan a couple months ago, and he talked about how he could remember when he was in the womb.
Oh, I seen clips of him on Joe Rogan talking weird shit about space and time and the universe. Yes. What is that? What happened to him?
About the Anunnaki?
Yeah. He was he was talking about aliens and shit. I was like, what the fuck, Terrence Howard?
He said he remembers when he was in the womb.
When he was in the womb, he can. Okay, yeah. Sure.
That was his first memory.
Sure.
So I think the thing. Here's the thing about Hollywood is like if you get one comes back, then you lose somebody.
You gotta all things in balance.
It's
similar to the Crow later on, where like if you got to send an innocent to hell.
Yes,
like that's what happens. And
you get a fucking. Then one of them you got to put it crazy.
So we lost Beau DeMayo. Who do we get back?
Yes, we lost Terrence Howard. Who's going to fill his spot?
We lost Beau. We lost Ezra. Who are we getting back?
Yeah. Somebody's going to come back.
We lost Amber Heard a couple of years ago.
We can get Amber Heard back.
Think we get Amber back? You think you can recover from shitting on a bed?
Yo, Eminem on his new album has a line. He goes, I put that shit to bed like Amber Heard at a mattress firm. It's fantastic. So good. Anyways, these people will be fine. Give it a couple years. Hollywood forgets. Very forgiving. We're going to take a break here. We're going to play some promos, and then we're going to travel to Purgatory, something. The Crow.
What city is this movie in?
Oh,
we'll find out
we're
later.
all going to guess. Yes. Right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I'm Imran.
And I'm Sophia.
I'm the brother.
And I'm the sister. And we are watching a show about cousins.
We're your hosts for Dance of Joy, a Perfect Strangers rewatch podcast.
We grew up watching the 80s hit sitcom, and now we'd like you to join us every week as we rediscover our love for our favorite TV cousins, Balky and Larry.
You can find our show at danceofjoypod.com and on all major podcast platforms. Now we are so happy, Sophia. We do the Dance of Joy.
Imran, this is a podcast. They can't see us.
Oh, po.
What's up, Jock and Nerd Nation? This is Logan at Mostly Superheroes, a podcast that was partly inspired by the Jock and Nerd podcast. We talk about a lot of the same stuff, MCU, DC heavy, with other content that comes out of HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and more. We're committing to doing something new every day in 2021, so come join the fun, check out the schedule. Find us at mostlysuperheroes.com and enjoy the rest of the show.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, make sure you head on over and join our awesome Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. There's a link in the episode description, and you can give back and support the show on a monthly or annual basis, and you get stuff like access to an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. We got bonus content, instant reactions. Right after we see a movie, we'll record a jumbled fucking thought mess of our thoughts and put it up. It's always fun. You can hang out with us on our monthly Discord hangout. We just had one last week, and all three of us actually showed up, and we had new people. It was fucking great.
Bruce Campbell joined.
Yes, Bruce Campbell, also known as Detective John Campbell, also known as John Campbell. One of those is his real name. It's not a tumor. That was great. Again, and he was having problems. So if you're on the Patreon and you're having issues, just send me your Discord handle, and I will click the thing and make you get it.
It's not the easiest thing. Tell me. I mean, I've been at it for years now, and I still have trouble.
And you still have problems, and I try to make it easy, but all I need is your Discord handle. If you're on the Patreon, send it over. You'll get admission. And it's a lot of fun. So all that stuff, you can check out the details, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Okay, let's get to this week's movie review. We are going to be discussing the remake, reimagining, reboot, I'm not sure what it is, of The Crow. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
So look, the story so far, The Crow, a graphic novel created by James O'Barr, 1989. Very dark, goth, very filled with grief. He wrote this because he lost his girlfriend or fiance in a drunk driving car accident. Writes this book, 1994, of course, a movie comes out with Brandon Lee. Infamously, the movie where he is shot with a prop gun and dies on set, a lot like his father, Bruce Lee, during the making of a movie. And then subsequent sequels come out.
His dad didn't die on set.
Well, didn't he die from, it wasn't like movie set related. How did Bruce Lee die?
He just had some heart thing or whatever. Didn't he?
Oh, I thought
he died really young.
Yeah, he died about the age. I thought a similar thing.
Yeah,
no, Bruce Lee died like at home. He had like worked all day and came home, and then he died.
Oh man!
So or went back to his place and he died. Brandon Lee also died in a hospital, I believe. I think they actually got him to a hospital.
Oh, you're right, both of you are right. He was recording an automated dialogue replacement for Enter the Dragon.
Oh shit!
He was having seizures and a headache, and he had cerebral edema and died.
Holy shit! He was just recording ADR for fucking the movie,
right?
And
he took a nap and didn't get up.
Jesus, at 32, and I believe, how old was Brandon Lee when he died? I believe he was also
a young guy. I think he was also in his 30s.
Yeah, Anyways, crazy like Lee family curse or whatever.
Yeah, Lee family curse.
But the movie is a cult classic now because of that, because of Brandon Lee's performance, because of the music, the soundtrack, Alex Proyas directing, right? Multiple sequels come out, and now we are at the 5th film in the franchise. But this is actually the second movie to adapt the 1989 comic, as what they said they were trying to do.
That's correct.
Allegedly try to adapt.
So in the original comic book, it's a story of Eric Draven and Shelley.
Correct.
This doomed couple that were either about to get married or, they were betrothed to each other.
Yes.
And all the subsequent movies were about different people, clearly different people.
Yes, different characters that had similar tragedies, but the Crow brings them back.
Right.
To make right what was wrong.
So this is basically the remake of it's based on the comic. It's retreading in other footsteps, which is like Brandon Lee's Crow. So
yes, but the big thing is these are the characters Eric and Shelley also, which is a big thing for this movie to do. Anyways, here's the story of the Crow and Rotten Tomatoes. Let's do it this way. The original, 86%, 1994, 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. 2 years later, they gave us Crow, City of Angels, 1996, 14%. Big drop off. In 2000, The Crow Salvation. This one has Kristen Dunst in it, believe it or not. 18%. So a little marginally better. Then we go to 2005, The Crow Wicked Prayer, Eddie Furlong, in a 0% Rotten Tomatoes movie.
Oh, shit.
Which brings us to The Crow 2024. It is currently 20% tomato meter. 64% audience rating. All right. This movie was made for $50 million and just fucking shits the bed. It opens at number 8 with $4.6 million opening weekend. Number 8. You know what was number 7? The fucking re-release of Coraline, that Tim Burton stop motion picture.
That's not good.
No, limited re-release. This is 2 back-to-back duds for Lionsgate. They also just put out fucking Borderlands.
Oh, God.
Like, this could bankrupt fucking Lionsgate Pictures. It's just disaster. In the meantime, Daredevil Wolverine opened back at number 1. Alien Romulus had taken the number 1 spot last week. Daredevil Wolverine reclaimed the number 1 spot. It is officially the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. It's at $1.2 billion worldwide. It's the 8th highest grossing superhero movie ever and still climbing. I think it could go maybe a little bit more.
Wow.
Crazy numbers. And it's just also, there's a bunch of reasons why it underperformed. It's like back to school weekend, bad marketing. We'll get into all that. This movie is brought to you by director Rupert Sanders. Ruggs, what do we know the Rupert Sanders from?
He did Snow White and the Huntsman and
Correct.
Ghost in the Shell.
And Ghost in the Shell. I haven't seen either one of those. Have I?
Actually, I think both of those movies are decently made films.
Did I see Ghost in the Shell?
It's just that he kind of made the wrong call with putting ScarJo as this this character that we associate with being Asian.
Oh yeah, I remember that big
whatever. You can make that association, but she's she's got purple hair. You don't really know what
that movie was all right. I do kind of remember it. It was okay.
But I think he's been in controversy every movie. Like I think he fucked Kristen Stewart.
Oh yeah,
It
was something like that. Like while they were working on a movie or something.
This guy's like an unhinged dude.
Yeah, Rupert Sanders. So screenplay by Zach Balin, William Schneider, starring
Beau DeMayo. No,
I'm gonna say it. It's a bunch of these dudes in Hollywood apparently. Starring Bill Skarsgård as Eric, and they just list him as Eric. They don't actually say Eric Draven. Eric.
I don't think they wanted to.
Yeah, they didn't want to go that far.
Route.
They might have edited out of the movie when people were starting to shit on this movie.
Just put Draven on there. What are you doing? FKA Twigs is a person, a musician,
formerly known as Twigs.
Formerly, is that what that means? Formerly known as FKA Twigs. She's playing Shelley. You got Danny Houston, who always plays the bad guy in movies as the bad guy. Vincent Roeg.
He was like the bad guy in Wonder Woman, right?
No, wasn't that Pedro Pascal? Oh, the first one. Yes, the first one. He was in the second one. Yes, Danny Houston, always a bad guy, always British, I guess. And then I don't know. I'm not even going to read these other people. Josette Simon as Sophia. You got Sammy Baugila as Kronos, the guy in Purgatory. I don't really know any of these other people, and they're all kind of forgettable. Anyway, Isabel Way as Zadie, which you meet in the beginning. Regardless, Anthony.
Yes.
What happens in this R-rated 1 hour, 51 minute? It's the longest Crow movie also out of all of them. What happens in The Crow 2024?
Well, this is about a guy and a girl that meet in prison.
Rehab. It's not prison.
Oh, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. They meet somewhere. They fall in love. And the girl is involved in some sort of crime with some dark people. Because of this, they both get killed. And for whatever reason, he gets to come back and avenge her. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's your basic Crow setup.
Revenge story with, your Crow supernatural setup.
Yeah. All right. So you watched the first movie because we reviewed it, right?
Yeah. I only seen the first movie because, you made me watch it. And then I have not watched any Crows. And it doesn't sound like I need to watch any Crows.
Don't worry about those other ones. I'm glad you watched that first one as a basis because it's hard. It's going to be hard not to compare it to it because it's trying to do the same thing. But when the movie was over, how are you feeling?
Oh, so I wasn't the biggest fan of the first Crow. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a good movie. It's just not the supernatural gothic stuff is not my jam.
You had to be there.
I never was sitting in a dark room, lighting candles and playing
The Cure. You didn't have The Cure in the background.
Or Trent Reznor or whatever. Yeah,
Nine Inch Nails. No.
Yeah, no, that wasn't me. That never was me. Okay. But I can appreciate The Crow for what it was. It's a moody. It's a film that where you get in there and you go, that's you get immersed into that. This movie is outside of two scenes, really is just really boring. I think that's one of the first takeaways I had as I was watching the film. It's a 2-hour movie almost, and I looked at my phone a few times, like, what time is it? Like, where are we at? I think the movie has a lot of problems with how it's paced. They go a lot deeper into the relationship between Eric and the girl. Not sure it's all that exciting to watch. It's just them wanting to fuck all the time
and do drugs.
And then do drugs. Yeah. And then so you're waiting for them to die because that's part of the whole gig.
Yeah.
That takes a while. Then he becomes the Crow, but he's still not fully the Crow, so he's kind of bumbling around and figuring out what's going on. And they try to do a little bit more of a realistic take in that, he wouldn't be just this superhero right off the bat.
Right.
But that's really boring too. And Skarsgård, he's physically a pretty impressive looking guy. And he has a look to him for sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't really the biggest fan of the way he was delivering a lot of the lines. I thought the tone was really goofy at times. Like sometimes they were playing some really light music. Some of the soundtrack was really odd. It was just a really weird experience. I mean, other than the opera fight scene, which at times I did think was pretty creative with the sword and how he was killing people, and it was very bloody. To the point where I was going like literally like squeamish in my seat watching some of the different stuff. But yeah, it's just a really boring movie. The dude being the main villain having superpowers was also a twist, I guess. I don't know. A lot of the things they did just didn't really work. I don't know. I don't really know. And there's not, I mean, it has a dark vibe, but it's not completely as gothic. So it doesn't really have its own tone either. And it doesn't really get into a feel or a vibe until the opera kill stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like the movie's really just like two scenes and they're not good enough to save the movie. So that's what I think.
That's pretty accurate. You get to that opera scene and you're like, where was this the rest of the fucking movie? What is happening? Ruggs, what'd you think? What happened here?
Lots of mistakes were made.
What happened?
I'm sure he's got way more thoughts.
And lots of mistakes were made. The first thing that they did wrong was they used Eric Draven and Shelley. If you're going to use those names, that particular Eric and Shelley, they can only be the Eric and Shelley.
There's certain characters, yes.
Yeah, it's like Peter and Mary Jane.
Yes.
They're synonymous with a certain story.
Correct.
So they fucked up right there from the get-go.
That's a big fuck up right there.
I think that the casting was a little bit weird for both of them. I think Bill Skarsgård has an accent, and for some reason it comes and goes, and that's a little distracting. And then FKA Twigs is not the best actress.
Yeah.
And she just seems a little too childish for this movie. Maybe they're trying to go for some innocent thing, but nothing that they did kind of worked. It seemed like she was like a teenager almost.
Was she like a former prostitute or something? Like she's not innocent. She's doing drugs. She's hanging out with bad people.
Well, yeah, that's what they do, kids. But like, it doesn't make you like them, right at all.
Yes, likability.
There's not a likability.
No, there's no.
Yeah, you don't really
none of them.
You don't really fall in love with either one of them.
Yes.
Unless you're just going purely on the visual. I don't know. He's covered in tattoos. He has this opening scene with a horse.
That's from the comic.
It's
the only thing from the comic book. That's the only thing.
That's from the comics, but they never really get into anything from there.
They never build on how fucked up that happened.
Yeah.
That made
you see a shot of the trailer, you see a shot of this lady in the trailer, but you never really understand. Even in that shot, like, where is he in the trailer? Is he sleeping somewhere? Does he wake up? And it's just like,
was she doing drugs or something? Like, are they trying to show?
It was disorienting, and I don't think in that moment, like, yeah, of course, if you watch it on video, you could slow it down. But like when you're in the moment in the theater, it washes over you, and you don't even know what you're looking at, and it doesn't really give you anything to go off of other than that there's some tragedy here.
Right. This is why he is a sad emo boy.
And then he's in like a co-ed.
Yes, that's weird.
He's in like a co-ed rehab prison where they wear whatever.
Yes, everybody's wearing pink. It's very strange.
And he's like, everybody's like bullying him around.
Yeah.
And
why?
He refuses to talk. And it's fine. And then Shelley shows up because she's on the run. She like tricks cops and she like deliberately puts drugs on the in front of cops so she gets arrested on purpose.
But couldn't she have just been like, this dude is following me? Can you help?
Or
cops are corrupt too. They get into that.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. The bad guy just didn't really work either. He was interesting, but they never did anything with that. And then the thing that I hated the most was this in between.
The purgatory area.
The purgatory did not work.
Silly.
It was way more effective when he just fucking rises from the grave.
Yeah.
And just pulls himself out of the fucking grave. Yeah. And then this crow, like in the Brandon Lee movie, they did it perfectly. The crow shows up and then just kind of like he starts following it.
He knows. Yeah.
Like a zombie.
Yeah.
And he just knows, like, all right, like I'm alive. And like the crow. In the comic book, there's this like skeleton headed guy.
There's a skeleton cowboy. Yes.
He's kind of the guy. Kind of talks to him.
Yeah.
And they tried to do that with whatever this guy Kronos is.
Yeah.
But it's not effective. And it just doesn't work for me. This whole drowning in the water, like, none of that worked. I thought that's confusing. This whole deal that he's making for her soul, none of that worked. All of that was just overcomplicating something that's very, very elegant.
Yes. So, that's the one big problem with this movie.
So then you have this romance that happens, and you don't know what period of time it takes.
Right.
All of a sudden, there's like these smash cuts to like all of a sudden they're in Eric's place. And they've never established Eric's place.
Yeah.
Right.
That he even has a place.
He's got shitty drawings on the wall. He wasn't even that good of an artist.
So, like, when all the neon and
like,
the
how
mannequins,
long did they know each other? How much time has passed?
He knew the way out of the prison and never decided to, way out of the rehab.
Them breaking out of the prison is still laughable. It's like, let's just cut the trackers off.
They climb out the window. They escape so easily, and nobody is looking for them at all, ever. From the place, except for those people.
So, like, even the stuff that happens isn't, like, good enough. Okay, like, every movie's got contrivances, and every movie kind of does. But, like, when you're trying to pin, like, first of all, you're coming in with the pedigree of the Crow, which is questionable, right? You got a lot of shitty movies that are called The Crow, but now you got like you have enough time, and you said to everybody you got a legitimate director like who's directed a couple of big movies to come in and do it. So there's a lot more on the table here. You're not doing like The Crow Wicked Prayer where like this director has got like $1 million to make this movie. This is a $50 million movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not slumming it. They got a lot of resources here that they can use. So to kind of like make this movie as boring as it was, and almost nothing clicks, nothing works until you get to that opera scene where finally, like, okay, now you can see the talent of this director and how he can cobble together a nice, interesting scene. But there's a whole opera going on.
Oh my God! Nobody heard any of those fucking
gunshots. And no one hears these
gunshots. How loud is this opera?
There's a lot of gunshots.
There was a lot. Nobody hears anything. Get the fuck out of here. That is the best scene in the movie.
Yeah. So is it the worst thing I've ever seen? Yeah. No, I've seen way more worse movies, but not this is pretty bad for a $50 million movie.
It's not the worst, but it's disappointing. And I agree with everything you guys said. When it ended, I was like, how the fuck do you make a boring revenge action movie?
What the fuck? She rises from the dead like back in time?
So wait, we'll get to that because I fucking fell asleep at the end of this movie. It was so hard for me. But just like you, Anthony, 40 minutes in, I'm like, is anything going to happen? It's so pointless and soulless, and it takes forever, has no momentum. He, like you said, he becomes the Crow, but he doesn't really become the Crow until like the final act where he doubts his love, and Kronos is like, oh, you're powered by love. You can't doubt the love. You lose your powers. And then like the black goo makeup comes on, and then he's kind of activated. And this is like the last 20 fucking minutes of the movie. We have already sat through like an hour and a half of bullshit to get to here.
But like, this is the problem. It's the contrivance of Shelley can't tell Eric Draven that the guy
made her do it.
The guy made her do it because he's got powers.
Yeah. Why?
You know, he would immediately not be like, "Oh, Shelley, you're a piece of shit. I can't love you anymore."
Yeah,
like, that's like a stupid plot contrivance.
I was waiting for her to be like, "Look, I got to tell you something. That's why I'm on the run." She never explains once why she's running from these people. It's
just they needed it to happen so they can make him the Crow.
Yes, it's all just because of plot. Things are over-explained. There's too much exposition. There's too much complication. It takes away the mystery and kind of the ambiguity this movie needs. Like, first of all, on paper, getting to know Eric and Shelley a little bit before they get double murdered, I guess kind of makes sense, I thought. But then I thought about it some more, and I was like, do we really need to know Shelley? Like, the Shelley is not the point. The point is his love and his vengeance, and all the Crow movies, you start. In the first one, minute 16, he's the fucking Crow.
Right.
You start with the murder. Things are shown in flashback.
And the thing is about that whole movie has this goth feel to it.
Yes, it's consistent.
So the fact that he paints his face like a goth would makes sense. There's no gothic thing going on in this movie that is like pronounced enough. Now, they had an opportunity with the drawings to do something with it.
Yeah.
Like, imagine Shelley's going through his drawings and he's drawing this face.
Crow figure, like
this face. He's like, what is he? He haunts my dreams.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I feel like it's speaking to me, but I don't know what it is. So then when he finally comes back from the dead, he knows that he's the Crow.
What were those shitty like scribbled drawings? Like, what the fuck was that? Like,
they were just all meaningless. They were all like he drew her. I don't know. He's drawing his images from his past that we never actually see or make sense of.
So
he's got something scrawled on his back, tattoo.
Yeah,
but they didn't linger long enough to actually read it.
Yeah.
But it's probably some bullshit you don't care about.
In the first one, he's a musician, and they switched it to making her a musician. But FKA Twigs, look, maybe your music is good. I've not heard it. I did not care for this person at all. The two have no chemistry at all.
She's dated around a lot of people, though.
Really?
Yeah.
She's not good. Like, they had zero chemistry. I didn't buy any of this shit. So when they die, I didn't give a fuck, even though you made me spend like an hour with them. And them doing drugs. First of all, she's got some friend that's got a nice apartment. I don't know where they're getting money from to do anything, and the clothes fit. So she must have a tall, lanky friend. It's very strange. But them doing drugs really was weird because remember in the first one, he helps Darla's mom get off morphine, and it's all like J.O. Barr is like his fiance was killed by a drunk driver. It's very anti-substance abuse. And the point is, Eric and Shelley, these are really good people who, by a random act of senseless violence, their lives are ended short. That you don't have to explain anything else. And that's not what we get here. We get a guy who's sad, who just gets fucking sadder. And remember also in the first one how Brandon Lee had jokes and he would smile. I mean, I love the whole moving you're dead. And he goes, I say I'm dead and I move. And he's got a little girl that's friendly. Like he's kind of heartwarming and friendly.
The movie's got so much more going for it, The Other Crow.
This is just like, I don't give a shit about this fucking emo dude who's just like, why?
Even like the bad guys, they all had fun names.
Yes, you got Tintin.
And he takes them down one by one.
Yes. These ones, you got these dudes in suits who were probably just there for a paycheck and had no idea.
They're just there at the wrong.
They were like, what? My wife needs me to pick up the chicken later on my way home. And boom, you got a knife through the head.
That's that was one of the things that went through my head when in the opera scene was, these are really cool kills. Do any of these guys deserve to get killed?
No, they don't. This is not what they signed up for.
Are these just opera house security?
Why are they hacking down?
No, they work for Danny Houston, but honestly, they're jobbers, right? They're just a gig. The guy's probably got a couple other jobs.
Didn't even know what Danny Houston was about. We didn't know what his character was.
So he made a deal with the devil so he can stay alive, and he will.
What is he doing? Is he owns a conglomerate?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and what was the deal with the whole? I thought they were building towards something with the Vienna Austrian piano player.
Oh yeah, what was that? Why did he have her around with him?
He was around a lot, and I was going, oh, maybe this is an uncorruptible soul, because he was saying how there's, he's not doing anything. There's darkness in the people, and he's just exposing it. And I thought that was going to tie into maybe he has this girl and he tries to corrupt this uncorruptible soul, and she's the one that actually leads to his death because she's uncorruptible.
That'd have been great. What was the point of this?
That would have been something, but they completely dropped that whole thing. Like, I don't even know why she was there, why they were even focusing on her.
He's like, I'll kill her later. I'm just going to keep you around.
But they just drop her. She doesn't even exist.
And then she disappears.
The third act. Yeah.
I mean, it's very strange.
The movie's, there's a lot of, when you have to compare it to the original Crow.
It's half-baked.
Yeah. It's a lot of, oh, this would be a good idea. This is how we could change it up. Here's this guy we have. He kind of looks like Brandon Lee. He's got a weird look. Yeah. That's good. But yeah, you're right. It's there's not enough there that they could have mined to actually make an interesting story. So for 3/4 of the movie, I'm sitting there going, this is the Crow? This is not, I mean, I don't, even the original Crow, while not my favorite type of tone of a movie, I was still going, this movie, you feel shit throughout this entire movie. Like there's a certain je ne sais quoi, there's a vibe to this whole thing.
The movie has a soul.
You got Michael Wincott as the bad guy.
Yeah,
come on.
There's just a lot to chew on here. Whereas this movie, there's not a ton to chew on. No. It's just very boring, which is really sad.
It is sad. And the opera house scene is the best, but you can just watch it on YouTube.
I don't understand why you ramp down the action.
So,
if anything, double down on the action. If you're going to make a Crow movie now, have that opera scene, but have 3 or 4 scenes.
Yes, the whole movie should have been like that. That should have been him picking everybody off in crazy scenes like that.
Right. Maybe they just didn't have the money and they wanted to film him underwater. I don't know.
Yeah, they
just kept wanting to film people in water.
It's like we need the shallow
pool. The way that they die is terrible too. So if you compare the way Shelley dies, Shelley gets fucking gang raped.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And then thrown out a window.
Yeah, and he's watching this.
And then she goes to the hospital and suffers for hours and hours and hours. Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, the Crow uses all of that pain to kill Michael Wincott.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And
pumps that into him.
That is poetic.
And that's poetic, yes.
They also changed the fact that he feels pain. He can heal, but the others, I don't think they didn't feel pain. You just walk right through.
I don't mind him feeling pain. I don't think that's a bad.
See, I mean, I see what they were trying to do. He's trying to learn his powers, but he's very incompetent. He gets thrown out of cars. He gets run over. His fucking leg snaps open, and then I don't know. I get that it's even more unbelievable in the first one where he comes back and he's just a badass and knows everything and how his powers work. But there's something cool about that confidence that he rarely shows until the very end.
I kind of get what they were trying to do with the villain, make him supernatural. So now you have this supernatural being. Because the first Crow,
he's supernatural.
He's supernatural, and the other guys aren't. And he kind of walks through most of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just don't. When you throw in the deal with the devil type thing, and I'm like, where does this fit in with the Crow?
Yeah.
What's the deal with the purgatory? Like that even is kind of half baked too. So it's all like, how does this all jive? Like, why does he become the Crow, and why does this guy get a chance to talk to the devil and all that shit?
It would have been cool if the bad guy was like a crow.
Right. That's what I would have thought would have gone.
Like that he never died. Like he came back, but then he just like didn't give a shit anymore.
Stuck around and didn't finish what he had to do.
Yeah, he became a Crow. Yeah, and like just used it nefariously.
Yeah,
so then he started being this asshole Crow.
And he's been around for a long time. Were they trying to make it seem like Kronos had like a personal vendetta against Danny Houston's character?
Yeah.
See, that doesn't make any sense either. Like that changes it removes the whole purpose of the fucking Crow.
Yeah, it's just overcomplicated.
Why do they overcomplicate everything?
It was almost as if this wasn't a random murder. It was like, you are the guy to avenge this because this murder is linked to the guy that with the deal with the devil, and we need to get him out of here.
Ugh. And that's what happens when you try to explain why they get murdered. You don't need to do that. It should be random, violent act of two nice people that you can't explain, and shit just happens.
What about when she gets resurrected?
Okay.
It's like nothing ever happened.
So let's talk about the ending, because I did kind of fall asleep at the very end. So he goes through the whole opera scene, and then later, and some of those, it had me going, oh, and reacting like when he snaps the dude's neck, or when the knife goes through the guy's mouth. Like there were some violent kills, and I was like, this is fantastic. But then it slows down, and then how does he kill Danny Houston's character, Roig?
He pushes him into the water, and then the devil
pulls him in. That's right. Okay. And so
he beats his ass in the water. Yeah.
But by this point, he has decided, because he failed his mission, he's going to trade his soul for Shelley's. He tells Kronos, take me instead, save her. And then we see her get revived right where she died, and his body is next to her. So did none of this happen? The fuck happened?
That's a weird call right there.
The dream.
Well.
What the fuck? Because the beauty of the Crow is that he kills everyone and they're reunited, and he gets to live with his fucking beloved.
Yeah.
Now they're going with the whole sacrifice angle because it's true love, and that's what motivates him, is he has to have love, and then he doesn't have love for her. But you're right. I mean,
what the fuck?
I didn't think about it at the time, but her waking up back in time also is a really strange idea.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
So this asshole's not dead then.
So apparently according to Bill Skarsgård, they changed the ending to leave it open for a sequel. It's a little sequel bait. That maybe he's still stuck.
Where's the bait in the sequel, though?
Is he still in between worlds? Is he stuck? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a weird.
There's no sequel here.
It don't make sense. They're not making a fucking sequel. This thing, nobody's not making money.
Here, I'll give it one. I'll give it a couple of things of credit. And this is the only credit I'll give it.
Yeah.
In the opera scene, I like the part where he has the knife or the sword in his own body and stabs someone else.
Yeah, that's good.
And then I also liked when he cuts the guy's face open with the sword.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Some of those kills were pretty fun.
Yeah.
Still don't understand why he's killing all of them. There's a part of me that is going, those guys got to be just getting paid $15 an hour.
Exactly. They were hourly fucking workers that they don't have insurance. They did not come in for this.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for them. And you need the fun bad. But you're right. That's it. I mean, the scene where he gets into the vehicle where he tries to shoot him and then ends up inside. It's okay, but
Yeah,
he gets kicked out of the car and get run over, and he's not very good at his job.
Why does he cut the heads off the people and throw them into the crowd?
Oh, I don't know. Just to be creepy? That was weird.
What did those people have?
That's pretty intense.
What? And Shelley's mom, what was her part
What's the deal
in
with that? Yeah, that was another strange idea.
She had photos of herself in her. What the fuck? What was she doing?
Yeah,
I guess she had made a deal with the devil to offer up her innocent daughter in exchange for him not I think that was what they were going
That's
with.
what she did?
I think that she basically traded her daughter for like riches.
What a shitty
riches
mom.
and like for him to not bother her.
Oh, leave him alone.
Yeah, that was a whole other weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of. You're right. I guess I didn't even think of the term, but Ruggs is right. It's just a very half baked movie.
It's like they had these ideas that they thought, like when you make a movie and you do it right, and you don't want to, you just want to infer things and not explain it. They have to fall into a certain line so you can make those connections without like having to do too much work. Like this is like giving you so little, and and none of it actually like coalesces together. So when you do think about it, it does make like it's just like, okay, you did that, but it doesn't really help at all.
Right.
It's kind of like, yeah, but we did this, but like, no, but that doesn't really do anything for the movie. It doesn't really explain something. Oh, that all of a sudden it makes sense. No, it's just like, all right, well, you didn't even need to do that. A lot of this was, you didn't really need to do this.
You didn't need to do the whole movie. Look, it'd have been one thing.
Well, sorry, real quick. It's also an odd choice to start the movie with that horse scene, which is disturbing. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then you take the first quarter of the movie and instead focus on Shelley.
Yeah.
So now, and then we meet Eric later, but we don't really know why he's there or what his backstory is. And we get it told through flashbacks a little in a montage, but it's a weird choice to focus on Shelley, not make her all that interesting, and then be like, okay, she dies. Now you got to follow Eric.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been one thing if she was an interesting character, but yeah, he's just following her around like a little puppy dog. It's kind of weird. And I don't buy their chemistry. Like, this is the girl you came back for. You just met this girl. And what are you doing? This is the girl you're going to come back from?
They should have expanded on, he's had no family and he's had no life and he's never had anyone love him and his horse died. I don't know.
So that's the thing I was going to say. Either don't call it the Crow movie. That might have saved it. Or if it's the Crow, don't make it Eric and Shelley, because that's not fucking Eric Draven.
Yeah.
It's not the character.
Yeah, I mean, this is a legitimate franchise in the hands of somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like Final Destination or whatever. Sure. Any of these movies where like it's just a situation that happens. Yeah. It's not like Final Destination is all about death coming for you, right? Mm-hmm. And a different group of people every time have to deal with the fact that they're trying to cheat death.
Yeah.
And this is the Crow. It's like the Crow is the Crow. The Crow is not the person. It's the Crow that leads you to the people to revenge, right? Yeah. So it carries your soul back. You reanimate, and then the Crow shows you the way. Okay, go kill those guys that fucking did you wrong. Go right these wrongs, and you can go back into peace and be with the one that you love. And that's about making a soul that's not at rest, at peace.
Right.
And that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Eric Draven. It doesn't have to be goth. It could be in any way, but it has to be fucking an action movie. And it has to like be entertaining. Like, you can't just make a shitty movie and call it The Crow.
It's got to be entertaining. And yeah, it's kind of a formula, and the sequels follow the formula, but the formula works.
If you really want, it'd be nice to like have a little bit of because The Crow is a very dark, it's about death. So have maybe a little bit of that art direction in there, a little bit of that, not gothic, but morose, yes. Like kind of like Tim Burton-y, like
a little creepy,
a little bit of a creepy edge to it.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna have a guy fucking put face paint on, make it have a reason that's cool. All right.
I mean, it's not because he found some ink at a ink shop.
Well, no, it's just like I can understand in the original, in the comic book, there was an interplay of like he goes back to his apartment, he just sees this mask, and that's how he feels. So he puts the paint on his face to kind of mimic the mask.
Yeah.
And then they kind of did that in the Brandon Lee movie, where he like punches the mirror, he doesn't want to even see his face, and then he sees the mask, and then he just starts painting his face like a mask. So, I mean, there's more of a connection to why they do that. They had the tattoos here. but they didn't do anything with that. So everything was half baked. Like, figure out a better reason for the face paint.
Things just happen just to happen. Yeah. Other unanswerable questions. Why is it always raining? This movie. It did always rain in the first one. It was always raining. Like every time they were outside a large time, I was like, oh, it's going to be raining all the time.
It can't rain all the time.
Can't rain all the time. And the first movie, it was raining all the time, except when he says it can't rain all the time. The other question, Anthony, you brought this up earlier. What the fuck city is this? Where are they? Can you tell me what city this is? What country?
I thought at some scenes, I thought it was New York.
Yeah.
But then it's definitely not. I don't know what that city is.
I swear I saw cars with the steering wheel on both sides at one point. I was like, wait a minute. Is that steering wheel on the other side? Where the fuck are they? They shot this in Prague and Munich.
Oh, okay.
But it's just this vague city.
I guess the original Crow is in a weird city too. So that's not the weirdest criticism, but
isn't it like confused. Where's the original Crow? I thought it was like a Detroit. Yeah, it's Detroit. And remember, it's Halloween night. It's like that night where everybody comes out. And then even in the first one, he doesn't come back until the next year at Halloween. And Halloween is tied in and makes a lot of sense. This one, it's just indeterminate time, indeterminate city. Sure, why not?
Yeah, there was also some like the like when they're in the carnival and the music's playing, I'm like, is this a teen movie? What's happening here?
Yeah, the music choices were very odd. You had some obscure Joy Division, Gary Newman, but then I guess there was some new stuff.
They hung out at the lake with some friends.
Yeah, who are these people?
They're trying to lay low.
Yeah, they escaped from a fucking thing. Nobody's watching them. Yeah, they're just out in the open. Nobody cares. I was like, there's people fucking looking for you. Why are you at the club, you assholes?
And it's not like these two have the most inconspicuous look.
Right? Very easy to spot.
One dude's got tats on his face and a mullet.
Wearing a fur coat.
I mean, that might be hard to spot these days.
Oh my God, the fur coat.
The fur coat.
I was like, am I looking at Marilyn Manson here? What's going on?
Well, every Crow needs a long black jacket. Like, that's just man.
Not the fur, but he wore a pink one at one point.
He had some weird, because they were staying at that guy's house. They just stole his clothes.
It is very inevitable the way they made him look, but it's very Jared Leto-esque the way they had him.
Joker.
Yes, it reminded me of Jared Leto Joker a lot. But there were moments.
Not a comparison you want.
It's not good. There were moments where
doesn't these people know that no one liked the Joker?
He looked just like him. There were shots where he looked kind of cool with his eyes where his head's down and he's got this stare, this look.
He has a really unique physicality. And I mean, he's a 6'4" guy. He's real lanky. I said this with Boy Kills World. Like, he's got a unique look. He looks like a fucking weird looking guy. He's got something to him where you can't really take your eyes off of him, but I get why they casted him. I just think they were just like, oh, we got this guy. He looks he looks weird.
They didn't give him anything.
You know what? It's a lot of wasted potential.
Yeah, they didn't give him anything
he's
good to do.
He's not a bad actor either.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing, I guess, but
I loved him better in Boy Kills World because that's how you use him. He just don't have him talk. Just have him do action. It's fine. It worked great. Like, he was great.
Some of the line delivery in this was really bad.
It was rough. So I have a couple behind the scenes production news. Kind of explains why this movie turned out the way it is.
What had happened?
The first main thing is this movie has been in development hell for 15 years. They've been trying to make this movie. It all started in 2008 with Stephen Norrington wanting to direct. Of course, the guy who did Blade. And when I heard that, cool. I was like, holy shit, that would have been amazing. That is a good call. Now, I'm going to read you a list of actors. In the last 15 years, these are all people who are at some point in talks or actually cast in some version of this movie in the last 15 years. Mark Wahlberg. This is all for The Crow. Bradley Cooper for Eric Draven. Channing Tatum. Ryan Gosling. James McAvoy. Tom Hiddleston. Alex Skarsgård. Fucking Bill's brother or cousin or whoever he is. Luke Evans. Nicholas Hoult. And, of course, famously Jason Momoa at one point. Also connected. And then we talked about the tragedy of Brandon Lee on the set of the first one. And then this Alec Baldwin Rust set thing, they used airsoft guns entirely for this production, meaning all the muzzle flashes had to be put in post and there was no live rounds. So that's kind of a little bit of this movie probably never should have been made. Should have just died in development hell. But the thing is, you spent 15 years trying to make this, and this is the shit that you fucking come out with at the end. Like, that's what came out is shocking.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I feel like a good Crow movie could be easily made.
How do you make it?
It's easy. You just use the convention of the Crow. That's all you got to do but you have to make it a revenge movie, and you have to have the bad guy be a complete piece of shit, and maybe a little bit more of a heavy. Remember when we watched The Beekeeper?
Yeah.
Like the bad guy was like fucking senator.
Yeah.
And like they had all their fucking goons.
Yeah.
Like something like that you could do. It could be, all it is The Beekeeper and The Crow are both just revenge movies where he's single-handedly taking everything down.
Yeah. Should he be the only supernatural thing in the movie if you're doing this?
I think that there could be, I think it's okay to have other supernatural things.
I like that idea of another Crow.
But I don't like the idea of this, like, kind of like in between and all these rules about heaven and hell and how it works.
That purgatory looked like shit,
that just messes things up.
You're in some abandoned fucking industrial alley. This is like, what is this?
Like, I like the whole convention of if you hurt the Crow, then you hurt
yeah, that's the thing. If
he's connecting them to the land of the dead.
If you can figure out that the Crow is what he gets his power from,
right?
The Crow out.
And that's it. You just use that fucking thing and you rinse and repeat with different stories, with different tragedies.
Well, 4 times they couldn't figure this out. And really, you don't need another.
Well, this is the problem with all the Crow movies.
Yeah.
Is number one, the City of Angels actually looked great. It just was too close to the original movie. And it almost was like the exact same retelling.
Right.
And that just didn't work. Then all Salvation and The Wicked Prayer were just, they had no money.
Yeah.
And they were just poorly made. Like, really, I'm talking about like B movie. And then this Eddie Furlong is like even more.
Eddie Furlong. Come on.
It's terrible. I mean, it's unwatchable.
Yeah.
All right. So like City of Angels getting a 14. I think that I would rather watch Crow City of Angels any day versus this Crow.
Oh my God, you know who else is in Wicked Prayer? David Boreanaz, Tara Reid, and Dennis Hopper. What the fuck kind of cast is this with Edward Furlong?
Yeah, it's so bad. Christ. It's unwatchable. Wow. It's really, really bad.
So, okay, let's do this. Anthony, give me your final thoughts. Give me a number. And then if you've seen other movies, rank it. But the big question is this better or worse than Madam Web?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to rank it. I mean, it's worse than the original Crow, for sure. I would rank it. I would give it probably wearing from a 3.5 to a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. I mean, it just, how do you make a Crow movie boring?
I know. That's what I said.
And that's for me is the thing is we can talk about all the holes and like how the threads that they have are all half baked, but at the end of the day, how do you make a Crow movie?
Don't be boring.
How do you make an action revenge thriller, a goth horror revenge thriller, supernatural revenge thriller boring? And they did that. They did it. They did a great job at doing that.
Yeah.
As far as it being worse than Madam Web, I think Madam Web is worse just because I think people will be quoting Madam Web forever.
Yeah.
For some of those lines. Whereas the Crow, I don't know. I'm sure there's bad dialogue in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone gives a fuck about this movie enough. Like, no one's gonna. I don't think there's gonna be a ton of people going back and watching the Crow and be like, look at that line.
Doesn't that make it worse than Madam Web?
I guess in that sense, it's like more forgettable. But I think Madam Web is legitimately like. I think Madam Web has like. How like everyone in that movie tried to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
Whereas the Crow, I feel like. Whereas the Crow, it's just a lot of half-baked ideas, like Rugg said. So I don't think it's not a good movie. Don't get me wrong.
It's not.
I think Madam Web is like infamously all-time bad.
Okay.
Whereas the Crow is just really bad.
Okay. Ruggs. Same question.
Madam Web is its own movie. All right? And it's born out of something. It's an abomination to begin with because like nobody wanted all these Spider-Man adjacent movies to begin with. Madam Web is a character that no one fucking wants a movie about. It's like an Agatha friggin' thing. Like nobody wants this, but they're making it anyway. So it's already behind the 8 ball. And then they just freaking took it all the way home by making just a dog shit movie that made no sense. And it's terrible. That's a terrible movie. This movie has a little bit more of a challenge because it has one of my favorite movies, which is the original Crow, because I read that Crow movie and then like 2 years later, this movie came out.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that book, not because it's brilliantly written, but because there's something visceral about you're reading someone's pain.
Yeah, it was different
like,
too at the time.
It's like someone took their diary and made it into a picture about how he was trying to deal with this tragedy, and he was just pointing out all of the shit in the world, and there's poetry in there, there's weird visuals. It's unlike any other graphic novel I've ever read. It's more like a diary.
It blew my mind. To me, that book really showed me the power of graphic novel storytelling. It doesn't have to be superheroes. You can have it was so
personal.
cathartic. It could be personal and still be bad. Like, it was amazing. It was great.
It introduced me to like the goth era. Like I was listening to that music anyway, but like it really made me like feel like, oh, like this is like a real thing. I thought I just like some of these bands, no, he's putting the lyrics in there.
Yeah.
So I read the book and then I'm like, there's no fucking way they're going to make a movie like a pro goth movie.
Yeah.
And they did. And it was cool. Like people liked it. Like regular people went to the movies and thought it was cool. So, and I really responded to it. So now they're making this movie, and yes, they've made a lot of bad Crow movies. They've made a Crow TV show. But I think that I liked City of Angels, and then all the other movies got saddled with like being B movies and C movies and having no money behind them, and just they were crap from the get-go, right? But at least they had the decency to not make it Eric Draven.
Right.
So now this one has the hubris of money, and all these years have passed.
Yeah.
And nobody remembers the first movie as much. And on top of that, they have the hubris to actually use Eric Draven. And so now you're forced into the comparison with the other movie.
Yeah.
And so all of those things do not work. The movie's boring. It just doesn't feel right if you're using Eric Draven and you're doing this. They're added a lot of elements that don't work. And ultimately, I was bored. I was looking at my watch the entire time. Yeah. And I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Okay.
Just a little bit more than Anthony, because it's not like an unwatchable movie.
Yeah.
I might even be inclined to give it a 5. I'm going to be really generous and give it a 5. It's not an unwatchable movie, but it's a fucking failure of a Crow movie for sure.
But Madam Web is worse to you.
Absolutely. Like, I would watch this probably more than Madam Web. I mean, Madam Web might be more fun to watch because it's got like, young, attractive women in it, but and just ridiculously bad things happening. It's probably more funny to laugh at,
Yes.
But this is more of a movie, I guess, like that's more conventional. Like, it's just a revenge movie. Yeah. So I feel like it works, in that sense, but it just doesn't, it doesn't really do anything great. Like, you have so many revenge, like type things like John Wick. You got the Equalizer. You got the Beekeeper. All of these franchises that they do it like it's no big deal. So it's an easy one.
You got Monkey Man, you got Kill, you got Boy Kills World.
That's right.
They're all great. Okay. Wow. My response might shock you guys. Yes, I thought the movie is entirely forgettable, unnecessary. How do you make an action movie boring? They did it. The opera scene is the best scene in the movie, but you could just wait till that's on YouTube and watch that and have the same satisfaction. I'm going to give it a 4. This for me is a 4 out of 10. And gun to my head, I would rather you watch Madam Web because it is so bad. To me, it's fucking hilarious. It is hilariously bad when you go back and think about what's actually happening.
I just count the amount of times where I face palm and shake my head.
It's
and
great.
I think Madam Web was literally every 3 seconds.
I mean, I think boring is a bigger offense than being completely batshit ridiculous and nonsensical.
That's a tough one for me to like figure out what
It's close.
Yeah.
I mean, so you have Borderlands and this movie and like Madam Web all fighting for like what's the worst movie?
I don't know. I didn't see Borderlands, but
I didn't see Borderlands, but I heard it's bad.
I think a person like a random person can watch this movie and not be offended by it.
Sure. I guess they'll just be bored, but they'll be like, okay,
they might be bored. You know, they might be bored, but
at least Madam Web will listen. And what the fuck is happening here? I don't know. I don't know what's worse. Anyways, that's good stuff. Let's find out what some of our listeners thought about The Crow. News from the Nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Just a couple of comments. So I post these movie threads, spoiler threads, on the Thursday the movie comes out. Because I figured, if someone's going to see it right away, they can leave a comment. So on the Thursday, Jose Ibarra wrote this. The review embargo doesn't lift until 4 p.m. today. All sides point to an absolute turd.
Oh, shit.
That means they didn't lift the review embargo until the movie came out. That's never.
Yeah, that's pretty indicative of a shitty movie.
It's not good.
Never a good sign. And then, man, the reviews came out, and I don't think there's a positive review of this movie anywhere. I couldn't find one. All right. Then now we got a great comment from our buddy Blake Braden. He says, let me go on a little rant here. Number one, it is breaking my brain to think that professional movie studios on back-to-back weeks put out 2 movies with a single-digit Rotten Tomatoes score.
Oh, shit.
Not just professional, the same fucking studio. The same fucking studio is going to lose a lot of money. Lionsgate. Number 2, I'm confident I can direct a movie by just sitting there doing nothing, letting everyone else do their jobs correctly, and still manage above a 6% Rotten Tomatoes score. I guess it was at 6 when it came out. Number 3, he writes this in all capital letters. The studio gave Rupert Sanders, known for Snow White and the Huntsman and Ghost in the Shell, both floppers, $50 million.
The fuck?
That's a good point. 6%, I don't go to Rotten Tomatoes as my end-all be-all, but literally when you have a 6% score, there's a pretty big consensus there. Number, what are we, 5? Also in capital letters, you take my favorite video game, absolutely trash the ever-loving shit out of it. He's talking about Borderlands. You take one of my favorite movies and reboot and trash the ever-loving shit out of it 2 weeks in a row. Fuck, Blake's been going through some shit, fellas. They've just shit all over his childhood 2 weeks in a row. He goes, what are we even doing out here? Can we take a moment to please stop making dogshit films and just hire competent directors or, hell, competent writers? I wouldn't be shocked if someone told me Borderlands and The Crow were written by AI. In fact, I put money down that The Crow was. So, Hollywood, let's take a step back. I know things can get stressful. Stop making shit movies for a moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and fucking get it together. And with that, I have to play this then.
Well, then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together.
I haven't heard that in a while.
I really,
it's been a while since we used that.
Blake Braden absolutely deserved that. I could feel the passion coming from him. So, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it was bad. Bad weekends. It's also like August, and like this is, you don't release a movie in August, it never does well. Kids are going back to school. Just bad. It's just all around bad decisions. Okay.
No bueno.
No good. Moving on. We'll find something else to watch. I gotta wipe my fucking mind. In fact, let's talk about what else we watched. Anthony, you watch anything?
No.
Rugs?
I rewatched The Predator.
Oh, you did?
Oh, wow.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like it's time for some Arnold. It's Arnold time. And I enjoyed it.
Did you see anything new that you hadn't seen before?
No, not really. It was more like I did notice that they, with the practical effects with the skinned bodies, and I felt that was still pretty effective. And I remember so when the lady is speaking Spanish and the guy's translating, she's not saying anything that he's saying. Like,
what did she say?
I don't know. I guess back in the 90s, the 80s, people who spoke Spanish didn't go to the theaters or something.
That's hilarious.
They could get away with it, but nothing that the lady was saying had anything to do with the guy was translating. Yeah, I thought it was good. I really liked that whole thing where when Arnold finds out that the thing can't see him for what reason, I don't know. Like the fact that mud's covering him. Like,
yeah, it cooled his body temperature. That's why.
Oh, really? That's
it's the heat, because the Predator senses the heat signature.
Yeah, but he's had this thing on for like an hour.
Haven't you put some mud on?
Yeah, you cool down.
You don't need AC when you got mud.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is that how it works? He's just wearing the mud for hours, and like it seems like it would heat up. But
it is a little weird. I never really understood how the mud cooled him down.
But I did like as soon as he gets that mud on and he lights up the thing and he starts screaming.
Oh, when
it goes out from there, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be crazy. And then Arnold just gets his ass kicked a bunch of times. It's pretty cool.
You're one ugly
motherfucker. We can talk about The Crow a little bit more, because I did last night.
What? We're still talking about The Crow?
I'll tell you why. Because last night I was like, I had never seen any of the sequels. I was like, let me check out City of Angels, the sequel to The Crow.
Oh, God.
And yes, it's a low budget movie. The premise in this one, it is exactly like The Crow in terms of structure, but in the leads, you have a father and a son who are murdered for witnessing a crime by gangsters with fun names, and the father comes back. And right away, that's great. You don't even have to explain the relationship. It's a father avenging his fucking young son.
It works much better than the other movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's perfect. So then you also have this character named Sarah, who I believe was the same character from the first movie.
I think she's the same Sarah.
Supposed to be the same Sarah, and she's a tattoo artist, and she's like, oh, I kind of knew a guy who went through this. And then he just systematically goes and kills all the bad guys and there
is some kind of like witchcraft involved.
Yeah, there's like a dude, Judah, who's like a voodoo guy, and they videotape everything. Iggy Pop is in this movie, and it's kind of perfect. It's really weird.
It's not bad. People were trying to say it was really, really bad. Tim deserve a 14.
David S. Goyer wrote this, directed by Tim Pope. The lead guy is, I've never seen this guy again, Vincent Perez.
He's nobody.
Yeah, had a thick accent.
He's like an Antonio Banderas.
But I was like, if you're going to redo the first one and just move it to another tortured, I like that it wasn't like a man and a woman in love. It was like a father and son, and you can invest in that right away. Yeah, he also smiles. He has some fun. There's a little levity. He's not all bleak and dreary.
And he's not doing kung fu either.
Yeah.
He's just killing them with whatever he can get his hands on.
So I would actually it's a 14 on Rotten Tomatoes, but I would put The Crow underneath this one too. I would say that my favorite would be the first one, and then City of Angels, and then the reboot out of the ones I watched. I don't know.
Yeah, I would do the same thing.
There's action all the way through. There's like a great vibe of this dirty city and this peep show, and like the city's actual character, kind of like in the first one. Mia Kirshner playing Sarah, and I don't know. It was some Thomas. Oh, that was Thomas Jane. Shit.
Yeah,
I didn't even recognize him. He was so young. Fucking Thomas Jane and Vincent Castellanos. So I watched City of Angels just because I was like, let me watch this. The guy looks all right. He looks a lot like Brandon.
Yeah, it's not a terrible, terrible movie that you're embarrassed about. It's actually like, well, they did a lot of the things the same as the first movie, which it's just a little bit. It's not Brandon Lee, so it takes a big step down.
Yeah, you watch anything else, Ruggs?
No, I did not watch it. I don't think I watched anything else. I've been very busy.
Let me throw out two more things.
Okay.
There's a movie on Netflix called The Union. Brand new action comedy starring Halle Berry, Mark Wahlberg as the leads. This movie should have been called The Onion because it stinks. It's not good.
Oh,
the premise is Halle Berry and Mark Wahlberg were like high school sweethearts. They used to bang. He's still in his hometown of Patterson, New Jersey. He's like a construction worker. Somehow she ended up working for the secret black ops program called The Union. J.K. Simmons is also in it. There's kind of a fun cast. Lorraine Bracco. So she's in this, they got to get this intel, and this mission went bad. And so for some reason, she decides, let me get this guy I knew in high school who has no skills. He'll be perfect for this mission. And they have like 2 weeks to train him, and they go undercover, and they kind of rekindle the romance, and there's Mike Coulter's in it. There's other twists. There's some action. It's a ridiculous fucking eye-rolling movie. Like, it's just, the story is ridiculous.
Is it better than The Crow?
Yeah. It's not as boring as The Crow. I'll give it that much. Especially since it's on Netflix, and you can just be like, oh, let me see this bullshit. Some of the action was all right, but like he very quickly just starts killing people. Like, this guy is a fucking construction worker. They just trained him, and he's all good at everything. The movie's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So don't watch that. And then I did check out Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which also has a great cast. Henry Cavill, and Alan Richardson. I said this on the Discord. I will say this in the pantheon of Nazi killing movies. This one it should be in the conversation. They kill a lot of fucking Nazis, and it's kind of fun. It's loosely based on a real story of these guys. In fact, Ian Fleming is in the movie as a character. And if you don't know, Ian Fleming wrote all the James Bond books, created James Bond. He was in the British service. And apparently the guy Henry Cavill plays was the guy that he based James Bond on. And it's like a group of these guys you get when you don't want anyone to know, when you don't want your hands dirtied, but these guys don't follow orders. So they have to blow up this ship to stop the naval blockade, World War II. I love the history aspect of it, and Alan Richardson was fucking fantastic with the bow and arrow and just fucking shooting people and laughing and killing Nazis. Boy, do they kill a lot of Nazis.
No, I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
It's a good time.
It's a good time. Absolutely. Ooh. I stayed awake, unlike The Crow.
You fell asleep.
I fucking fell asleep at the end. I was like, oh boy.
You had to rent it?
Yeah, I paid for it on the Amazon for a couple bucks.
It's not streaming yet.
Bucks. No, it says, no, it's not on Netflix. It says, I don't think it's streaming it. Oh, that's The Onion. Anyways, that's it. That's it for this week, everybody. Rugs, where can the listener find you online?
Caca. I'm dead.
I'm dead, bitch.
You can find me on Twitter, X, at Rugboy Show.
Anthony,
there you go.
Anthony, where can the listener find you online?
It's Labor Day weekend, so you won't see me online. You will see me out and about because it's the last weekend of the summer. It's the last time of the year you can wear white pants. Did you know that?
Is that how that works?
Can't wear white after Labor Day.
And then, but when?
Or on your period.
But here's my question. I know that rule. When can you start wearing the white pants again? When's that day?
I believe after May? I don't know. You have to ask. This is not something I'm.
Wait, can you wear white shoes and white shirts after Labor Day?
Which is not. Yeah,
you're not supposed to wear white. No,
not supposed to wear white at all.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, white is not flattering on me, so it's not a problem.
Didn't you wear white in New York? No, that was black.
Yeah. No, I don't own anything just all white. Are you kidding? I'm a messy eater. I would fucking spill shit on that. I know. I'm not dumb. I'm not buying shit I gotta wash every day. Fuck that white shit. Anyways, check out our website, jockandnerd.com. You know, just for shits and giggles. You can sign up to our Patreon. You can follow us. You can subscribe to the show. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
This is going great.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. I want your head up when I throw my fist in the air.
Oh, my God.
What the fuck are you all standing around for?
I know. It's been 10 years of this shit.
You're still here? You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go. Go home. It's over. Get out of here. Go home. All right? Leave. I'm calling the cops. Get out of here. Get out. The ending of Ferris Bueller wasn't that long a thing, but go. Get the fuck out. He didn't say that either, but that's me ad-libbing. Okay? Just go.